Welcome, Peter. Can you give us a brief introduction to Nicola Mining?
Well, my name is Peter Espig. I'm the CEO of Nicola Mining. I took over the company's role of CEO in July of 2013, and we are listed on the TSX Venture Exchange. Our ticker is NIM. Nicola Mining is the old Hulder Silver. The company was listed in the 1980s. We've migrated from focusing on silver to focusing on our core asset, which is the mill site in Merritt, BC. Well, I think the significance of the mill is not just the reason. I think it's significant in British Columbia because it's become more and more difficult to get a mill permit. Right now, you have to go through an environmental impact study before you can negotiate the rights to set up a mill. That environmental impact study is typically 4 years and in the millions of dollars. Once you have that environmental impact study, you can then start the process of doing the permitting. We are really the only site in British Columbia that has the ability to permit from anywhere in British Columbia. You can think of gold projects as airplanes, and our site, we're centrally located in BC, we are an airport. And airplanes ultimately need to land. They need fuel, and we are their fuel. And so you've got these sites, they have nowhere other than our mill property to come for processing, and we are not just an airport, but I also like to think that we unlock the value of their gold in the ground, because it doesn't matter how many ounces of gold you have. If you can't process it, the value is zero.
What's on the near-term horizon for the company?
We've worked at bringing the company to the point where we are right now. The mill is ready to start milling. On Monday, we had a news release that on Friday we received the permit amendment to our permit M68. That is very significant because it allows us to mill feed from anywhere in British Columbia. It allows us to look at high-grade gold properties, and I have to say high-grade because we're not focused on high-volume, low-grade. We are focused on low-volume, high-grade sources of gold, and that will be milled at our site in Merritt, BC.
When do you expect to be generating cash flow from the Merritt mill, and will this allow Nicola to continue exploration work without issuing more shares?
We anticipate towards the end of next week we will start receiving the material, and this was in our news release on Monday, where we are expecting to start receiving approximately 9,000 tons of material from Siwash Minerals. They will deliver to us required 0.25 ounces gold per ton. Once we get to 1,000 tons, we'll test it, and then we will start milling immediately. And we would expect somewhere between, I would say 4 weeks after starting the mill process that we will start receiving our first revenues.
You've recently announced a joint venture agreement. Can you give us some more background on that agreement as well as what it means for the company?
Well, the joint venture agreement is focused on the gravel pits. Essentially, we have really 4 assets that make the company. Obviously, our main asset is our mill. Thule Copper provides us the blue sky. So you've got the near-term cash flow generator. B, you've got Thule Copper, which is the blue sky of copper. We also have Treasure Mountain, which is high-grade silver property. And then we have our 4th asset, which is the gravel pit. We are not a gravel operator. We're not a gravel salesperson. So we did a joint venture agreement on the economic interest of the gravel with a major gravel group in British Columbia. We have a large gravel resource. We don't know exactly how much, but it could be somewhere between 21 to 29 million tons based on a historical drill result. So it was better rather than us trying to dilute our attention away from the mill, we're better off reaching this agreement with this gravel specialist group, aggregate group.
Coming out of CCAA, what is the company's financial situation?
We were one of the only mining companies in the past 5 years that went into CC, or any company in Canada that actually entered into CCAA that didn't go through an asset liquidation or essentially gotten taken over from the parent company. We exited CCAA in 2015, and then we started working towards putting the company into a cash flow position. Our balance sheet right now is we have $300,000 cash that we've allocated towards exploration on Thule Copper. We'll have the $175,000, which we will look at allocating towards understanding the property and looking at putting salt-contaminated materials on the site as part of our reclamation. And then we also have approximately $250,000 cash for our working capital today.
How has the rise in gold price and the overall optimism in the mining sector affected Nicola Mining and the company's strategy?
A project needs to work regardless of what the price of the commodity is, and so this is why we only focus on high grade. I don't buy into the concept of high volume, low grade, because high volume, low grade, the biggest concern that you have is not your operational efficiencies, it's actually the price of the commodity. Regardless of what the price of gold is, we've got to focus on high valued projects to both sides, that being our side and their side. Now, if someone were to ask me what do I believe will happen to the price of gold, well, that's always, that's like flipping a coin, but I find it that I think we're in a very interesting situation globally where nobody really knows. And I think the movement of gold is based on news events.
Thanks for taking the time for today's interview, Peter.
Thank you.